I don't claim to know the truth, but I do claim to actually be trying to find out what the truth is. Like my entire life, I've noticed that I've always been curious about the truth. Ever since I was little, I even tricked my mom, kind of, like I lied. I came up to my mom and I said, I was maybe third, fourth grade, and I said, Mom, somebody told me that God was made up in order to get people to follow the law. Like God was made up by officers so people would do right. So I was lying to my mom because I was scared of what she might think if I truly didn't believe in God. But it turns out that I wasn't that far off. The problem with the world today is that humanity has proven to be incapable of determining what's real and what's not real. So we've actually, as a collective, as humans, have proven to be incapable of determining our own reality. So we've been given an unnatural, artificial reality that we've had to accept as a collective. So once you figure out that you've been being manipulated, like your entire reality has been being manipulated in a low vibrational form, then you'll say that life is meaningless. And it is. On so many levels, life is truly meaningless. But you must remember that this is the only space actually that you have to create your reality. I'll give you an example. If reality was already set out with a meaning, like a set meaning, then everything would be boring, right? So out of this manipulation of our life force energy in our dream experience, there emerges people who are saying that life is meaningless. It's completely meaningless. Like there's videos all over about it right now. Especially if you watch my videos, there most likely will be videos popping up about how this is the hell realm, that life is meaningless. But a lot of these videos that I'm finding are unconscious traps of these people's own quasi realms. Like they haven't done enough in life to actually understand and be able to benefit from their own awakening. Because awakening to the fact that life is meaningless is huge. And I would never discourage anybody to hold that back because the world needs to know. But I just want to warn people that are like watching my videos. If you click on a life is meaningless video, then make sure that that person isn't just telling you just about how life sucks. Like there must be a solution. If you watch this channel in my videos, you'll notice that although I think about, the negative aspects about life, and I'm not afraid to speak about suffering, it would be almost just as unintelligent of me to not acknowledge the positive side of life. The last thing you want to be doing in a dream, if you found yourself in a dream and it was not going how you wanted it to go, and you figured out that it was all meaningless, that nothing really matters, the last thing you would want to do in your dream is find yourself complaining. So you'll see many videos of where people are pretty much just shitting on you. Like it is true, life is meaningless. There's endless suffering. All we do is live to die. But hey, if you found yourself trapped in a dream, which consciousness cannot escape itself, but if you found yourself in a dream you would then begin to try to figure your way out of that experience that you were having. Like, you knew you couldn't escape the dream, so the only thing left to do is make the dream experience better. And that's by understanding reality. And a lot of these people who are making Life is Meaningless videos, let them get their 13K, you know, however many views they're going to get from it, but realize that they are just in the dream complaining. And to me, that's the last thing that I want to be doing in the dream. Like, I'm going to become lucid in the dream and get full access to the rational capabilities and ways of thinking in my mind. I'm going to see through this dream clearly and learn how to manipulate it in a high vibrational form so that we can all have a better experience. I've realized I'm going to awaken to the fact that whatever I say is real and unreal, it is so, because I'm the creator of reality. I realize that us as humanity are simply agents of things that are fake, like money, the government, elections. I realize what is real and what is unreal in each reality. I realize that there are three primary realities that we as human beings travel on with our egoic perception. And that's soul, life force, energy, awareness, mind, and body. In each three primary sub-realities, there are 4 quadrants to each reality: inner individual, inner collective, outer individual, and outer collective. In each of the 4 quadrants, there are pain thresholds that make things real and unreal in. If I can explore the bandwidth of my consciousness, explore complexities and all the simplicities, then I would be able to not be a reductionist and reduce all the complex ways that I can travel in the bandwidth and in the 3 primary sub-realities in my mind. Then I've updated my quasi-mechanism, my universal model of thinking, egoic perception, a healed egoic perception, a way to perceive these realms that I'm in. See, because the point of becoming more conscious is to suffer less. The point of becoming conscious is to free your life force energy. Any truth you'll receive in this realm would be truth on how to free your life force energy, aside from the truth that I'm giving you now. And that's how to navigate these sub-realities. So if these people are telling you that life is completely meaningless, they're actually not helping you navigate the dream and change your reality. They're not telling you that that might be the point, is to find out that life is pointless. These people are just on these videos and they haven't really developed themselves. They haven't really worked on themselves. Therefore, they have the ability to pull you into their own quasi-loop, their own quasi-realm, which is full of dark and evil. So I'm going to touch base on one more principle, and that's the quasi-cone in your eye. Now, we just talked about pain in the 4 quadrants, the reality threshold, the veil that gets lifted, which actually, on a physiological level, causes a release of DMT in your brain and allows the veil, it seems like the veil is lifted and you can see things for what they really are. Now, I'm going to touch base on these words that were sent to me, and it's a quasi-cone in your eye. Now, this third eye quasi-cone is very comprehensible. You can understand this. I'm going to start by explaining what a quasi-crystal is. A quasi-crystal is a crystal built in certain patterns that from light below it actually cast a shadow of the 3D world, and the world cast a shadow of a sphere. So we are talking about different, seeing through different dimensions. Now, with your third eye, have you ever been at a workplace and things seem normal at first, especially when you just first start a job? Things seem normal. You got the supervisor, you got your coworkers, but after a while, especially if you are growing spiritually, then you begin to notice things. You begin to notice spirits on people. When you walk through work with your third eye, basically seeing through God's eyes, you can see a different world. You can see spirits on people. I remember I was in a call center and the supervisor was coming around helping me, and he was at my desk and he was just like clicking through, like helping me on the order, and he was like sniffling. I was like, I just seen a spirit on him. And then my own supervisor too, I just seen a spirit on her, like bro, these people are demons. So this is speaking to how our consciousness in a physiological level operates. What is real in one realm is not real in another realm. If my pineal gland was to release, or needed to release these crystals so that I could see this other realm, then wouldn't that be interesting? You see, I call it a quasi-cone because a quasi-realm is a realm that is very similar. And in order to understand similar realms, you must understand that they're not even in different locations. They're all happening at once. Just like your mind, soul, mind, and body are all sub-realities happening simultaneously. So if I'm perceiving the world through the physical realm, with my physical eyes, and then with my spiritual eyes as well, these are like goggles, like to see into another dimension. So I just wanted to touch base on this quasi-cone, that you can see other dimensions and other worlds that are very real. There are different laws in these realms, and you are more powerful than you think you are. Like, otherwise you'd be unalive for sure. Things are really happening. If you were wondering if there was spiritual warfare, there really is spiritual warfare. I'm going to talk to you about the only constant in the three primary sub-realities that we perceive our experience on. The only constant, even in a dream experience or reality, whether you are in your awareness, mind, or body, the constant while you're in these realms and quasi-realms and sub-realms is your life force energy awareness. Now, newly known to me and newly discovered, there's another one that I noticed. Like, what is the constant? What are these constants that are always there? I know that I'm always aware. Like, I have my awareness in all these realities. That is the constant. But there's another one. And that's the presence of good and evil in each realm. In each of the four quadrants of each realm. The presence of good and evil exists. The use or misuse of life force energy exists. Your awareness of this exists. Whether it is the lightest extremity in your consciousness or the darkest extremity, in that realm, it exists no matter where you are. So this is great information. You know, just knowing, linking the two together, that how are you seeing with your third eye anyways? It must be a quasi-cone that you can see into another dimension with, right? How does the release of DMT, that's usually caused by tension created by consciousness itself, causes the release of DMT in your brain, allow you to see into other worlds, and then you come back and into reality and sober up and say it was a hallucination, say it was a trip, say it was a dream. So what are we doing here in this experience? We're making our experience more enjoyable. We are doing what we have to do. We're not asking for much. That's the thing, is we're not even like hard to negotiate with. We're not even beings that are greedy. Like, we just want the minimum things in our reality to have a good experience. What we have here right now in this video is only an immersion of low vibration manipulation. That is why I'm sitting here talking to you today. It's because I've realized that in ways that I've freed my life force energy and realized that how I've been manipulated. So here you have a guy telling you that life is a dream. I want you to imagine that you are in a dream right now. And you're watching this guy on the phone tell you about how life is a dream. Like, you are in a dream and there is this guy on the phone telling you that you are in a dream. And how do you feel about that? Is anything lost? No, technically not, because it has nothing, it doesn't interfere with the two constants of your reality. Life force energy awareness and the use or misuse of your life force energy and how you're manipulating it, good and evil. So I think it's interesting how even in dreams, that especially in the world today, we all have a hyper sense of good and evil in this realm. Light and dark. Extreme opposites. Extreme polarities. So, yes, in the sub-realities and dimensions that you travel on, there are two constants. They'll say it's just your awareness, which they struggle to even say that. But if you look deeply, there's always the presence of good and evil. A lot of the times you don't even remember what the dream is about, but there's a feeling. It's because you don't even need images and sounds or anything to have the sense of good and evil. You don't need to sense these through your five senses to know that they're present. What's real in one realm could be fake in another realm. Things can be real to a certain extent. Is it too hard for our minds as humanity to understand that we actually are and actually do make things real? And the problem comes when the collective makes things real and becomes agents of things that are actually causing torture to the human soul. A lot of people are divided, and there is deep wisdom on when the two become one. And what's linking all of these sub-realities is your awareness. But if you are divided, even in spiritual, and you're just so damn spiritual, or you're just so living in the flesh, like the two must come together. If you are divided in masculine and feminine energy, I almost got wrapped up in preaching that feminine energy is powerful, and because the mother earth and mother, you're just taking on another identity, and still the two are one, so you suffer. And you'll find these people running in endless loops, like we speak about endless genealogy being the torture to the human soul. Not knowing what's real and what's not real is the ultimate form of torture to consciousness itself. So we as a collective have proven to be to neglect our greatest responsibility as conscious beings here, and that's to determine what's real and what's not real in order to benefit the human race. I love you and all of the creation. Stay dreamlike.